Yo guys, what's up? Tim here from Cocal Knives. Welcome back to another video. This one's going to be kind of a new series called Knives 101. This is going to be kind of a little mini series dedicated to beginners and people that are just getting into knives. What we're going to do today is go over knife terminology. This is going to be folders mostly, just because that's kind of what this channel is kind of centered around. And today we're going to be talking about blades. So I got 3 examples here. It covers about every knife term that I'm going to be going over. This stuff is going to be real basic, guys. So I'm just going to kind of like go through it, describe, what the actual term is, what it is, and get you guys familiar with the knife stuff. If you're new, get you caught up. If this is your first time watching, also don't forget to subscribe. You guys can, get the whole series and we'll get you squared away. So with that, we'll get right into it. I'm going to start off with the Paramilitary 2. First thing we're going to talk about is the tip. So the tip is just the forwardmost point of the knife. Pretty self-explanatory. Then we go into the spine of the blade. The spine of this blade, the spine, by the way, is just the whole back part of the knife here, just the top portion here. This knife, it's just a plain spine. In some cases, like this zero tolerance, you get a little extra grinding up here. That's called a swedge. Sometimes you get a swedge like this. It's just, the middle portion. Sometimes it'll go all the way to the tip to get you a little bit more, stabbing or piercing. It's mostly cosmetic, but it can have some actual use. Next thing we're going to talk about is the thumb ramp. It's literally just a ramp up on the back end of the knife here where your thumb sits, just to get you a little bit better of a grip, more comfortable, hold on the knife. It's usually accompanied with jimping, which is this machining right here. They're just not sharp, but they're little, notches, I guess, little tiny little teeth that grip your hand or your finger or your thumb, wherever it is. Provides a lot more traction. You're going to hear that word a lot, jimping. It's kind of a popular thing to bring up and talk about. There's a wide variety of quality regarding jimping, some bad, some good. Let's go with kind of the opening mechanisms, I guess. These little stubbies right here, those are called thumb studs. That's just for you to get your thumb in there and you push the blade out with it. Nothing too crazy going on there. Some knives, like flippers, they don't usually have thumb studs. Some of them do as like a secondary. In the case of this knife, they're just a blade stop. So they hit the handle right there to stop the blade. So some knives do have external blade stops. Some have a stop pin on the inside, just like this knife does. You'll kind of see it right there. But yeah, some knives have them on the outside. They look like thumb studs, but they're not. The Paramilitary 2 just has a hole. It's just a thumb hole. You'll hear it referred to mostly as a Spidey hole, because Spyderco does that on basically all their knives. It's just kind of their signature thing. So you'll hear Spidey hole or just thumb hole if the people are just referring to it normally. As far as the bottom of the knife goes, we got the cutting edge, which is just the whole sharpened portion of the blade. Nothing crazy there. Just sometimes you'll see full or partially serrated, which is the serrations are just the little scallops that you see. It looks like a saw blade. Mostly used to cut something that's a little bit more rough that you either don't want to use your plain edge for, or that you can't normally cut through. Also commenting on the cutting edge, kind of the upsweep portion here, that's just called belly. So some knives have a lot of belly, some have a little bit. That's kind of a gradual amount. You'll see on the zero tolerance, it kind of, you got a little bit more of an upsweep here. Just helps a little bit with different slicing tasks. What else? We got the plunge line. Plunge line is where the grind, which is how the knife is ground down to the edge, like that. Bunch of different styles. That will be a subject of another video. But that plunge line is where the grind meets up with the unsharpened portion of the blade. So some you get like a, you know, kind of a half and half. The Paramilitary is like a real, you know, almost like a 90-degree angle there. Then with this, you get like a real, like a sweeping plunge line. Again, it's just mostly design. There's some design elements that work well with, you know, different plunge lines. Like for this sweeping plunge, you have a sharpening choil or a sharpening notch, which is this little, you know, indentation here. That helps you not have a lot of that extra unsharpened edge. So when you see the cutting edge here, it just cuts immediately, as opposed to something like this where there is no sharpening choil and you just have extra steel there that is not sharpened. So those two things usually go hand in hand, a sharpening notch or a sharpening choil and the plunge line. I think the last thing that we're gonna cover, and this kind of is going back to opening of mechanisms, is the flipper tab. So that's just the piece of steel that extends out past the handle to assist with flipping the blade open. Yeah, there will be a lot of different styles. Some will be, you know, real close to the handle. Some will be flared out. It's mostly, you know, there is a little bit of design element there, whether or not it helps the flipping action of the knife or if it's just, you know, for cosmetic purposes. But that right there is called the flipper tab. That about covers all the basic terminology. This is just on folding knife blades. We'll get into the handle terminology in a different video. This is just the first installment. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, share the video if you think this is helpful. This is meant to just help out people that are kind of new to the community, new to the knife game, get caught up, and, you know, when they're watching other videos, they can understand what's being said in reviews or whatever they're watching. So, you know, they're not like, oh, what's that word? What does that mean? Because, you know, it can be kind of hard. You usually have to do a lot of research by yourself to figure out all these things if you don't have like an educational video. So thank you guys for watching. Like I said, please subscribe if this is your first time. It really helps me out. Like and share the video, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks.